Welcome back to the channel, guys and girls. I know it's been a while, but I just want to say this.
I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
This is going to be a video about my trip out to California, as you can see from the title of the video. I hadn't been out to California since I was around 8 years old. I actually got lost at Disneyland on the Back to the Future ride the last time I was out there. So I was hoping that this trip would be a little bit different and a little less chaotic in a sense. And my buddies Vince, John, and Logan were going to join me out there. Logan from Philadelphia, Vince from Chicago, and then John, who lives in LA. We were going to stay with him. I met Vince and John at Chico, and Logan, you guys know from the channel. We went to Wyoming together. They're all just wonderful people, and if you notice that the video is looking extra crispy, it's because Logan was filming on his Blackmagic camera, and then John was filming on his Red camera, and they gave me all the footage because I'm very lucky and I have great friends. Yeah, so without further ado, here's California. That morning at sunrise, our first stop was going to be this giant dinosaur that I believe was in the film Paris, Texas. And for this first shot, I really wasn't focusing on anything else besides the light that was hitting the mountains. And this was the first shot that I took with my new 90mm 6.8 lens. I had previously had a 90mm f8 lens, but it was on this weird old shutter that you actually had to set to bulb mode, cock the shutter, trip the shutter, and that was how you would compose a photo. Pain in the ass, hated it. It took great images, but I really wanted something that was a little easier to use, so I bought a Kaltar 90mm 6.8 and a Copal shutter, which has the lever for composing, and it makes it a breeze to shoot a photo. This one turned out to be pretty decent. I liked the way the light was, and that's all I was going for with this specific photo, and it was a good start to the trip overall.
You're totally making my shot better.
Did I make it better?
You absolutely ruined it.
We slowly made our way out to the Salton Sea, and we decided to stop at this old abandoned gas station. And my idea for a lot of these pictures was not to take the super cliche ones, on film at least, I would save that just for my phone, and I took a lot of phone photos around the place. But this next photo that I wanted to get was just up on top of the building, shooting out with the sign in the foreground as well as the ground of the second floor. The way that I shoot T-Max 100, if you guys are interested, is I rate it at 80, and then I develop it in HC 110 with the 1:79 ratio. So in my tank, if there's 1,000 milliliters of water, I use about 10 to 15 milliliters of developer. And that usually gives me pretty good looking negatives, both for printing and scanning with my digital camera. And it turned out nice. I liked the way that it looked. The lighting was pretty nice, even though it was a little harsh. And I did decide to print this one in the dark room, and it turned out to be a decent print. We finally got out to Bombay Beach, and if you've never been there before, it's a very small town, if you can consider it a town, but there's around 200 people, and it's around an 8x8 block radius, I believe. So very small, and we just parked our car and decided to walk around. Again, I was not looking for anything in particular, mostly just on the lookout for any interesting people that caught my eye so I could finally make a portrait. And that eventually happened after we got out of the Ski Inn, which is the only bar in town.
What's that? You found it?
Incredible.
I actually got his portrait from a distance, and then I did move in for a second portrait, but honestly, when I was loading up the film in my dark closet in the basement, When I opened up the film holder, I thought that I didn't feel anything in there. So I just left the film holder open. And then when I turned on the lights, the piece of film was actually still in there. So all I got from that encounter was the one portrait, and I did not get the close-up, which sucks because I was excited about it. But that's the beauty of film. That's the beauty of shooting large format. You just lose shit for absolutely no reason, only because of your own stupidity. So that was fun. But when we got done with Bombay Beach, we were on our way back, and in the distance, we saw something that looked either like a low cloud or smoke or a flock of birds. The last time that I was with Vince and John in Central Illinois, in the distance, I thought I saw something that was either a flock of birds or a very cool looking cloud. And I almost killed us because I was looking at that, and then I was looking at the map on my center console, and we were on this straight road, the straightest road you could ever be on in Central Illinois. And I was looking at that, I was looking at this, I was not looking at the road, and I went into the ditch, and I corrected. Didn't kill us, obviously, but it was a close call. So I saw that in the distance, and I wasn't driving. So I started to look at the map, and we eventually found out that it was a giant wildfire that had just started. Couldn't find any news about it. And instead of going to the other town that we were thinking about going to, we decided to go to the smoke. So the picture that I got turned out to be my favorite landscape from the trip. And apologies to John's Honda CRV. I know there's probably dents in the roof, but he was okay with it. And I was trying my best to lightly tap dance on top of that thing, but I really wanted to get a high vantage point so I could see the ground as well as the giant smoke wall in the back. And I think it turned out pretty good. I tried printing this in the darkroom, as you could see from the video, and I made one print a couple weeks ago, and the contrast was just not there. I usually don't have to use any filters with my enlarger, but for this one, I decided to go back and use a number 4 filter, and still I wasn't completely happy with it, but it was good enough. It was just a really hard negative to print for some reason. I usually don't have that much trouble. If I knew more about darkroom printing, I could probably make it look a little bit better, but I don't, and it just takes a lot of time to print, so I just wanted to leave it at that. But super cool shot, and I was glad that we actually stopped and pulled over and took a look at everything. The show that night was absolutely wonderful. It was great to see Brian's prints up on the wall in physical form. If you don't have his book Sons of the Living yet, I highly recommend it. The first edition is sold out, but there is a second printing coming, so be on the lookout for that. It's an absolutely ginormous book, and it's filled with just inspiring work that was made over a 10-year period. At the show, I did meet some people that I've been talking to for a while, and I also met the one and only the legend, Willem Verbeek, and yes, he's taller. I had to look up to him like that, made me feel like a baby. But I wanted to meet him because pretty much without him, I don't know where I would be in this whole photography thing. I found his videos a little over 5 years ago. He was shooting film, and it just opened me up to this whole new world of photography and film photography. So yeah, I don't know where I would be without him, so I just wanted to meet him and give my thanks to him and just show my gratitude. But the show was great. I drank a little too much. Brian brought a lot of Lone Star beer, and it was just a great time. The next day, we decided to wake up early again for sunrise, and there wasn't much of a sun because it was cloudy, but we decided to head down to the LA River. Again, nothing really on my agenda, just looking for interesting compositions and maybe another portrait. We walked around a while. The light was slowly coming through the clouds, but mostly it was just very dull and dreary and a little wet. But as we were leaving and walking back, a gentleman by the name of Robert came up to me, and he was just out for a morning stroll. But he looked pretty interesting, and I liked how he had his hood up and tied very tightly around his chin. Come to find out that his niece actually lived in St. Louis, and she was a painter. So it was super nice talking with him, but I got one portrait of him. And again, when I go on these trips, I'm not looking for anything in particular. You're not shooting for a series of photos. You're not shooting for a project. You don't have an agenda of any kind. And for me, I'm just looking to document things as they are, as I see them. And the 5 or 6 pictures that I took on this whole entire trip kind of summed up the entire trip for me. So that was my trip to California. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I haven't made a bunch of videos because, like I said, I've been busy, but also I've just had a weird relationship with YouTube lately. I see a lot of people making things that you can tell that their heart isn't in it, and they're making it because they either have a sponsor or they're trying to get people to buy a piece of gear. And from the beginning, I know that the people that have been watching my channel from the beginning, I have always said that I'm never going to push products or push material objects onto you. I'm never going to be the person that's trying to sell something. I've had 2 sponsors on this channel the entire time, and one sponsor dropped me because I told them that they were cheap pieces of shit. And that was probably my bad because I let my ego get in the way, and I decided to tell them how I really felt and that they needed to pay me more, as well as other people that they sponsor more. And they promptly told me to F off, and I don't blame them for that, but this is because I feel strongly about those things, and I think other people that have channels should as well. And I've seen this across the board with YouTube and content creators and photographers on social media. A lot of people just completely abandon any idea of morals or values or ethics that they have in order to make money. There's a very small percentage of people on YouTube that are still doing it for the right reasons and doing it without someone either telling them what to do or telling them what to say. And that's what just creates this weird relationship with YouTube for me, because I love the platform. I love showing the process and showing off work and connecting with everyone. But when I see countless people doing it that way, it just makes me not feel great about the platform as a whole. So that's kind of why I've been sitting back and just letting things happen, as well as I just don't have, like, when I go out and make work, I'm focusing on making the work. I'm not focusing on a video, and I know that the work's going to suffer if I am worried about making a video at the same time. So it really helps when, even if I'm going out to California to make personal work and personal photos, if there's someone there to shoot video for me, it's just something that I don't have to worry about, and I can just focus on making the work. So that's a long-winded answer as to why I haven't been on YouTube, but I really appreciate all you guys who watch, and it's always exciting to make a new video, post something, and then see the feedback on everything. And yeah, if you guys are still watching this channel, I greatly appreciate you. I hope you don't leave, and I just hope you, as always, just get inspired from watching things. But yeah, that's all I gotta say, and I guess I'll see you in the next one.